Hello and welcome to another round of the ORL Championship Tier 2, and today we are at the Lone Star State. We are at Texas in Austin and the Circuit of the Americas. As you can see in your monitors, this 20-turn 5.5 kilometer circuit. The drivers are going to repeat 28 laps around it to conquer the glory today. To do that, the drivers are going to have at their disposal the C4s, the C3s and the C2s if they find any issues. So hopefully they can just do a simple one stop and give us a good show today. In terms of the standings, the Drivers' Championship as Balak's Kelvin leading with 40 points, followed by the reserve, the best of the reserves, Jan Failer, 15 points behind, as Andy Nater as a tie for P3 with Matthias, as they both have 18 points, followed by Skirpy, 2 points behind, and Flexa Marcy right outside of the top 5 in the best of the McLarens with 14 points, followed by Zen Am, Vito, CEO, and Tarabukin closes the top 10. Moving to the constructors' standings, we do have Mercedes leading affairs at the moment with 52 points, exactly 22 over the groove-based Williams, as the home boys for today, the Haas F1 team, following P3 with 20 points, followed by Ferrari in P4, as the fellow Italian Scuderia Toro Rosso completes the top 5. After that, we have McLaren in P6, followed by Racing Point in P7. P8 is occupied by the Alfa Romeo team, with Renault in 9th with a single point, and Red Bull the only team without any points scored so far this season. So with that, we can get ourselves started with the qualifying session for the USA Grand Prix. By the way, I do know you are not getting any image at the moment, but that's because OBS was trolling me there for a second. Hopefully everything okay, everything is already nice and smooth. And welcome everyone, you are more than welcome to take part in the chat, even though I can't really have it, just had to do something. Okay, we do have the chat on my monitor at the moment. Okay, so getting things started with, we have a few drivers already letting hell loose at the moment. And just setting up everything. Most drivers are on the soft tires for the time being. We have Ryan Micallef in the Alfa Romeo at the moment. I do believe this is his first race today, so he's making his debut, I believe, for the Alfa Romeo team. I believe he's replacing Verstappen, that has 8 points in the championship, 11th place. So he is a reserve from what I can gather. So he's driving today the Alfa Romeo. Let's see how it goes. We also have a couple more drivers closer to finishing their laps, I believe. Just checking with Korsak, exactly. His teammate is even closer to the end of the lap. We have Andy Nater. Let's see what he does at the moment. The Toro Rosso driver is coming across the line. Is going to get to 131.3. It's going to be beaten. No CEO, just 3/10 behind. And Tarabukin answers back with a 131.2. Gets himself provisory pole. The other Toro Rosso of Korsak is coming through the line now. He gets himself beaten. Oh, he beats his rivals with 131.1. Padlofutes, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I apologize if I am not. Gets himself P2 with a 131.206. So very close stuff in these early moments of this qualifying session. It's Ryan Micallef now through the line with the worst lap of the table. Gelbovan gets a 131.8, brings himself up to P6. The other Haas of Zoltis gets himself in P8. Black Panther completes a lap in P9, so not the greatest performance from both Haas drivers at the moment. Iceman on the hards gets himself a 138.2, so his lap didn't go accordingly to plan as well. As we have, is that speed booster in the Red Bull? Yes, it is. P10 for the medium driving Red Bull. or the medium using Red Bull. Let's see how it goes. Now it's the Brackley duo in the Mercedes team. It's Tonidza gets himself through the line, but got his previous lap invalidator. It's then Ame now, and looks like he's just starting with another lap of his own. So we are going to have to wait a little bit longer to see what these silver arrows can achieve today. As we have Kagan, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Suleiman is currently with a bit of issues. He just finished a lap on the hards, but he wasn't able to get a valid lap in, unfortunately. Let's see if he can improve on that. We have Frankie Pie now in the 47 Racing Point. Is getting himself to corner number 20, going to cross over the line, and it is P11 for the medium runner, 410 separating him and Speed Booster. So at the moment we have very close stuff at the top. Gilbovand, I believe, is coming back into the pits. Yes, he is. We have Fakir going on one attempt that was aborted there. As you can see, he's slowing down. He's on mode 0 of his ERS as well. And we have, is that Iceman coming into the pits? No, he's actually going for another lap. So he put on a bit more fuel at a cooldown lap, and he's going at it for another attempt on those white marked hard tires. Let's see, as Tonidza is close to completing another lap, but he's back in mode 0. So another mistake from him, and he's going to the pits. His teammate coming through gets wide at the exit of turn 19, aborts his lap as well. We have Screepy, who is just preparing himself to the beginning of a new lap. We have Fakir right behind, also coming on a new lap. Let's go on board with the Italian driver, with the Hungarian driver, as gets himself into turn 1. The hill climb does help slow down the car. It is a blind apex into turn 1. He could have nailed it a little bit better. Bit of oversteer as he tries to put the power down. Downhill into turn number 2, riding the curbs as much as he can get away with. He gets now to the Maggots Beckett section like on steroids. He gets himself all the way down and now uphill through the right-hander of turn 9 as he finishes the first sector with the car still in good shape. Gets now downhill into the braking zone of the hairpin of turn 11. Bit of a difficult braking spot there. Nailed the apex perfectly. The power is down smoothly as he opens the RS. Is going to give it all from that hybrid power unit in the back of his car. Let's see how it goes now as he propels himself into about 60 meters away from turn 12. Hard on the brakes, down to first gear to up-rotate the car as he completes the second sector. And he enters now one of the most crucial points of the circuit. Very technical third sector with this double left-hander of turns 14 and 15 and 16, and now through the double apex right-hander. Very long turns 17 and 18. Spot the black box on the right, throws the car in through turn 19, and once again on the black box is the braking marker for turn 20. Puts the power down smoothly, crosses over the line. P3 for the Ferrari driver. Good job from him with a 131.2, so right up there in contention for the sharpest end of the field. In the meantime, we've had a couple other drivers. We started getting on with their second attempts. Iceman has already completed a third lap, but looks like he wasn't able to improve too much, even though he got himself I mean, he did improve, but he didn't help him too much in terms of positions gained. I don't believe he gained any position, in fact, as we have the Haas boys getting themselves on this new flying lap. Let's see how that one goes, as Tarabukin made his debut at Monza last time out. Got himself a P4 finish, which is exactly the place, curiously enough, that he's occupying at the moment. So let's see how it goes as he gets himself to the end of sector number 2. Iceman has retired, Iceman has crashed. We can look at him, unfortunately, because the menu doesn't quite allow us to do that. But he crashed there on, I guess he misjudged the braking into the pit wall and smashed the front of his car on that pit wall. So it's qualifying over for the McLaren driver. Also a mistake from the other McLaren there in the first sector, as Korsak gets himself a new target time of a 1:39.27. Let's see how it goes for the Haas. He improves, just not enough. Barely under a tenth of improvement. Padlafutes answers back with a 1:30.8. Let's see who's behind. Maybe Black Panther? No, it's his teammate Ryan McCall who just started the lap. We have Zoltis getting himself an improvement as well. Jumps up to P5 with a 1:31.338. Meanwhile, we have Andy Nater, I believe exactly. That's Andy Nater getting himself through the last few corners. The German driver got a second place on his debut at the Japanese Grand Prix at the season opener, and look at that, a 1:37.56 for the German driver of the Toro Rosso. Very well done from him. Frankie Pie behind him, I believe, just started a lap of his own. So we're going to take a look. Oh, but he already invalidated it. It is red. The layout of in the track map is red, which is definitely not a good sign. Speed Booster just started his lap. Let's see how that one goes, as we have Suleiman about to complete another lap, still not able to post a valid lap time, as we have Tanisa now getting through the last corner, opens the RS, crosses over line P4 with 1:31.1, and right behind him is Fakir starting the lap. Zename, let's see what the Brackley boys can do, and he beats his teammates by almost exactly 1/10 as he gets himself up into P4 and the second place of the second row of the grid. Coming through now is Ryan McAuliffe, exactly, Ryan McAuliffe. Can he get up from P16? Exactly, better than his teammate, gets himself up to P12, not quite enough to get him in the top 10 just yet. He just needs a little more hard work to do. Hopefully he can still find some time to get another attempt in. Let's see how that one goes. Meantime, we have Frankie Pie, who is close to finishing his attempt. Ooh, there's a slow-moving Toro Rosso there. I believe that was Andy Nater on his way back into the pits. And I believe Frankie has actually invalidated this attempt. Exactly, has been recovering the ERS system, or his battery, and is going for another attempt, taking another crack at it. Let's see if he can post a lap time that would get him in a competitive spot. In the meantime, we have Andy Nater getting into the pits. We have Suleiman going for his third attempt. Gets himself to the line this time around on the hards. 14th place is what he can muster. As we have Susanstein, rather. I apologize for the mispronunciation there. Susanstein gets himself P18. And taking a look, we have Fakir completing his lap to get a 1:35.1. Doesn't getting much better than P15, unfortunately. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to get back in and go out in another attempt. We do have a few drivers that want to settle it as early as possible. We have CEO, we have Black Panther as well, as he takes a bit of a detour there through the last sector, probably to get out of the way of someone. That was Frankie Pie, who's going to complete his lap in a moment's time. Let's see how that one goes. As Frankie Pie just trying to take a look at his position in the championship. I can't quite find him, so I believe he's making his debut today. Let's see how it goes. It's going to open the RS, going to cross over the line. P12 for the Racing Point driver for the time being. Black Panther just started the lap of his own. Still has a bit of work to do for the Belgium driver to climb into the top 10 spots. Let's see how that one goes. Suleiman is finally getting himself into the pit. Speed Booster is going for another attempt. Can he improve on that 17th? P13 for the Red Bull driver with 1:32.6. Just less than 3 minutes to go. It's going to start to get all very close between these drivers. CEO is going to be the first one to get started with his flying lap out of what we can call the contenders, maybe. Let's see how it goes. Once again through turn 1. Let's see if he can get it better, much better. Just nailed that curb. Gave him a better angle for the power now. Gets himself to turn 2, 3, 4, 5. The long turn 6. A dab on the brakes into the left-hander of 7. And then a peel of 8 as he closes out the first sector. Very tricky transition there at the top of the hill from turn 8 to turn 9. And now into turn 11, also nailing the apex there very nicely. Smooth on the power. Going to get the RS open. You can see in the mirrors in both sides of his Williams that he has the slit open on the that segment of the rear wing, as I believe Black Panther Suzonstein has left the session for some reason. Maybe he got disconnected. He doesn't have much time to get back in, so hopefully he can rejoin us. A CEO got his purple first sector, I believe. Not sure about the second one. Surely it was very competent as well as he blasts his way to turns number 17 and 18. Full commitment through 19, could have been a bit tighter on his line through that one. And now into turn 20, also could have taken a bit of a tighter line. Nonetheless, going to cross over the line, P6 for him. As he has Tarabukin coming through now. He's currently in P7. Is the number 51 going to give the home crowd something to cheer about? He's going to cross over the line, P4 with a 1:39.97 thousandths of a second. His teammate is coming through to start a lap of his own. We have Korsak in the DRS zone. Just trying to figure out if there's somebody else that is going to, or is close to finishing a lap. We just have Taniza starting a lap of his own. And so that one goes in a moment. But looking at the minimap, we do have Suleiman just getting himself started. Black Panther is also closing his lap, but I believe he's going for another. No, he's actually giving up on the session. So P11 is the best he can muster. Also his teammate Ryan Micallef aborting his lap. We have Scrapey and Padlofutes as Korsak gets himself on pole with a 1:30.7. So brilliantly done. A 1-2 for the Toro Rosso boys at the moment. We have Fakir who just started a lap of his own. We have Ame, who's about to start one of his own. Flexa Marcy, can he get into the top 10? He's coming through the line. He improves just under 2/10. And that's almost exactly the margin that would have allowed him to get into the top 10, at least for the time being. As we take a look at the other Williams of Suzonstein, as he is bringing himself into the pits. We have the Haas boys of Zoltis, but Tarabugan is coming into the pits. We have Andy Nater about to get through. Zoltis aborts his lap. Andy Nater gets himself P2. He did improve, but his lap was invalidated, unfortunately. Taniza gets a 1:39.86, brings himself up to P4. As we have now the Renault of Gilbovan. What will the German do? He opens the RS, comes over the line, P10. Very minor improvements didn't allow him to beat the Haas of Soltis. Let's see how it goes for Suleiman as he gets himself P14 on those softs, so right beside his teammate on the starting grid. Now it's the time for the Maranello boys. Let's see what they can do. The number 24 is coming through the line right now. Can he get himself on top? He improves, not enough to move a position. Scarpy in the 21 now gets himself through the line. P7 for him with a 1:31.064. So close to getting that 6th place there. As we have Fakir coming through the line. Does not improve by enough. 17th for him as we get through the qualifying session for this USA Grand Prix. Number 14 having a couple of struggles as the Red Bull team does need some points. They haven't scored yet. They are the only lineup to not score any points this season so far. So a good performance here. Maybe they can have the luck on their side during the race stream. Maybe a safety car, maybe something happens to help them. Of course, we don't know about the weather. We haven't been notified just yet. Let me see. I'm going to ask one of the drivers about the weather, see if I can get any information. Oh, Julian has just joined us late in the session, but he's coming in. He's going to start from last place. Oh, let's see how that one goes for him. But there you have it. The Chinese driver Korsak gets himself on pole, 49 thousandths of a second, separating him from Andy Nater. Toro Rosso front row lockout, as they do need it in terms of the constructors battle, as they sit in 5th with 18 points, 34 points away from the Brackley based Mercedes team. So they are already starting to drift off and away of the battle. Black Panther kindly told me that he believes the race to be completely dry. Let's see how that one goes. Sorry. By the way, Julian is a full-time Red Bull driver, but since both Red Bulls are taken today, he's going to be driving for another team. I do believe his points still to count towards the Red Bull. He was just late, probably he didn't tell anyone that he was late, or something, some miscoordination happened, and he's not going to be able to get on his Milton Keynes built car. So let's see what colors he's going to be representing today. Of course, officially in the standings, he's still a Red Bull driver and is going to be scoring points as such. Let's see though, he's going to get ourselves started with the formation lap. And actually, we have Inelim getting in. I thought he was, I thought Julian was the next one to get in. So I believe Speed Booster maybe is a reserve. Speed Booster being a reserve, and he just replaced Julian. So maybe Julian was late and he got replaced. Just excuse me for a moment. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's unfortunate Julian won't be able to race today. We do have Inelim, as he is also joining us, taking a look at the results. He doesn't have any results on the table, so I believe he is making his debut today. And he's going to start from the back in the Renault, as he's going to be replacing Ripsin, as the German driver who got P10 in the season opener at Japan but didn't take part of the Italian Grand Prix, is also not taking part of this week's USA Grand Prix, so he's not going to, he's getting replaced by Inelim. Hopefully the reserve driver can do a good job today. Let's see how that one goes. At the front, everyone in the top 10 is on softs. Then we have Flex and Marcin, Black Panther, probably in the best position to do the reverse one-stop strategy. The thing is, they are going to have a disadvantage early on because they have tires that theoretically don't have as much grip. So on the getaway itself, once the lights go out, those two might have a bit of a disadvantage. If they are able to keep the pace, even then they are going to get undercut, because the soft runners are going to pit earlier and come back on fresh mediums, while these two are going to be going on old mediums and lose further any time. But they are going to be able to get on a late charge on brand new soft tires. The pit stop is expected to be at about lap 10 or 11 for the soft starters, as there you have it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out. And away we go for the USA Grand Prix. Korsak with a good start. Also Andy Nater. Padlo Futes is getting under attack now from both sides, as there's a dive bomb maneuver. There's contact from the Renault. There's a completely misses the braking point. Carbon fiber pieces everywhere, as there's damage from at least one of the Ferraris. I believe that is Padlo Futes. Michael Tuniza getting side by side with Korsak as Andy Nater gets past him, and we have a safety car on the track. The safety car has been deployed, and I believe that was Gelbovand who completely misjudged these braking markers there. into turn 1 and clipped Tarabukin, Tanisa even, one of the Toro Rossos at least. I don't think the Toro Rosso got any damage though, but just trying to take the opportunity now since the action has settled down a little bit. Just taking a look at any possible damage. There is damage on the left side of Padlo Fute's car. He was actually doing a great job with the qualifying up there, but unfortunately he is going to have to nurse some damage until the round of pit stops. That if he does not opt to pit stop under safety car. He is currently with damage on both sides of his front wings, so his pace is going to be severely dampened by that one. Then Ame also with damage there, as he falls way back down the order. You can see massive damage, especially to the right side of his front wing. So I would say that was caused by a mistake from the man on your monitors. He has damage on the right side of his front wing. Of course, the track is very wide into turn 1, but it does tighten after the apex. Oh, and we have drivers coming into the pits. We have Korsak into the pits. We have Tanisa into the pits. We have Tarabukin, I believe, as well. So, a torrent of drivers getting themselves into the pits. As the homeboy Tarabukin is going on a medium set. So, he's going to go on mediums and then switch onto the softs at the end. So it's basically as if he started the race in P11. Korsak got himself pole, so he's arguably the fastest driver on the track, and he's going on hards that are going to take him to the end of the Grand Prix, surely. He's going to take them to the end of the Grand Prix, and either Black Panther going on the same strategy, white tires until the end, and either these drivers get some sort of issues and lose time battling. But if they are able to keep the pace on the hards, once everyone pits, they just don't have to pit. They are going to gain an entire pit stop on everybody else. Even the medium runners will have to pit at about lap 20 or 21. I'm not sure if these drivers can take the mediums to the end. So it's these two drivers are either strategic masterminds or they are just kamikazing their chances of a win. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we can still have another safety car, right? We can have people drop out their disconnections. We can have people do any mistakes and just make a spin and crash out. We can see someone misjudge the braking point into the pit stop. Not the pit stop, but the pit entry, and actually collide with the pit wall. Oh yes, Tanisa gets a penalty for exceeding the track limits under safety car. That is very, very difficult to accept, really, because you are not really gaining any advantage. But on the other hand, you also exceeded the track limits, which there's no excuse to do since you are not on the track. You are not on racing pace, so why are you trying to explore the track, right? Unless you are just trying to avoid a collision. I don't see any reason to exceed the track limit. So the game got a 5-second penalty to the Mercedes number 30. Ryan Micallef from the back with the pit stop of most of the drivers ahead of him gets himself to P9. We also have the Racing Point drivers who climbed a lot of positions early on. Also have Soltis, who started P9 if I recall correctly. He is up to P5 with this amount of pit stops. Look at that. Fakir, Iceman, Sullivan and Frankie Pie with 10 positions gained. And Dinator splitting the strategy. The Toro Rosso team being smart about it. They know they have the two quickest drivers on the grid at the moment, or at least for these tracks. They got a 1-2 front row, so arguably they have the two quickest drivers of the pack today. So they are going to split the strategy. Korsak is going to take it to the end on the hards, and Dinator is going to try to pull away, especially taking advantage of the fact, as Padlo Futes got himself a penalty, a 10-second penalty, unfortunately for him. Very unfortunate indeed for the Hungarian driver. But as I was saying, Andy Nater, he couldn't pit stop at the same time as Korsak, or they would get a double stack. So Andy Nater is going to hope that just to beat his teammate, of course, he still wants his teammate to have a good result. Just that good result BP2, right? That's probably what's on Andy Nater's head at the moment, as the German driver just needs to drive his best and just get away from everyone. Korsak still has a lot of work to do. He doesn't have to pit, so he can be a bit more conservative. He doesn't have to risk it going on the inside of his rivals, because he's really not directly racing against them. But he does need to lose as little time as possible to the leaders, or once they come into the pits, he hasn't gained enough time to be able to stay in front once the others are on brand new mediums and he's on older hards. Safety car in this lap, Mikalev with a bit of a touch with Iceman, as Iceman looks like he's already going into the pits. The safety car is in. Green flags are shown, and we have the race underway again. Andy Nater already with a great start. Skirpy in P2, and we have Iceman in the pits dropping a lot of positions. We also have Inalin dropped off immensely, not sure what happened, but he's so far away from the pack. Black Panther taking his fight into Puddle of Foot as they are side by side to turn 2, and the Ferrari driver gets away with it. Gelboven gets a better line than Black Panther, but can't really get away with it. He can't find a bit of daylight to stick his Renault in, so he's going to have to patiently wait for an opportunity to get up to P14. Let's see if he can pressurize Black Panther into a mistake, who of course is on a harder compound of tire, theoretically a slower compound of tire, as Frankie Pie comes under attacks his teammate, as Suleiman drops down to P4. He's going to retaliate though. He took the slipstream off his teammate. It's going to be side by side into turn number 11. Bit of a lockup there from Frankie Pie, but no contact was made. Ooh, a bit of late braking there from Suleiman, who got himself a bit sideways. Slotties as Prime sit in the house to witness the battle of the two Pink Panthers. In the meantime, a 2-second gap has opened between Skirpy and Andy Nater. This is exactly what these two were waiting for. Oh, and we have someone dropping off of the session. We have a migrating host. Hopefully it migrates, otherwise we are going to have a pretty big issue. That one goes as we begin lap 5 of this Grand Prix. I do not know who was the host, but hopefully the connection can continue in a stable manner. Salties has a bit of damage in the front wing, that left side, probably some scars from the early contacts into turn 1 in the opening lap. And now, yeah, now I apologize for this, but now it's the standings are having a bit of a moment, as we have a battle there between Ryan McCullough and Korsak, as Korsak forces his way through, gets himself up a place, gets himself up into P9, I believe that is, as we are going to have DRS enabled for the drivers, just not at the moment. Tuniza is going to have a look at their booking. I'm not sure if this is lag. I apologize. Yeah, that's definitely lag. As those two, yeah, that is definitely lag. I apologize for that, but there's not much we can do at the moment. So I'm not sure if we are going to restart the lobby or not. Yeah. You can see we have 3 cars at the moment in the same spot. That is absolutely not correct. But we need to know if we are going to restart the race or what. Because, yeah, as you can see, the leaders have gotten themselves to start lap 6 or maybe even 7. But it's still showing up as a 5 on our screen. So I'm not sure if we're going to restart it or not. I just... Yeah, oh, sorry. Yeah, the vibrations of the camera there makes it really impossible. We apologize for this, of course. Sometimes it is just out of our control, as I've reported it. So I'm going to have to wait for the organization to make a decision, really. So hopefully it all sorts itself out. It's still migrating hosts, so I'm not sure how it's going to go. Again, I'm not sure who was the host, so can't really tell who caused the issue. But at least the standings on the track have normalized. But the laps are still not counting. We are still stuck in lap 5. As you can see in the top right, these drivers are having 4-minute laps, which is just not correct. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get out of it and get back in. Just give me a few seconds, and I'm going to leave and get back in. See if I can do something. Let's see. So let me join the lobby again, and let me spectate. Maybe it was just on me. Maybe it was just me who disconnected. I'm not sure, but oh, and we have 2 retirements in the meantime, and we have another safety car on track. I'm sorry, but Fakir and Inalim are out of the race. And I'm not sure what caused that, because we had to drop out of the session. But okay, maybe the issue was with us. So we have a safety car. So the safety car has come out, and I apologize for not witnessing what happened. But we do have drivers coming in, and those drivers can surely swap over to the mediums. And these hard tire runners might not have the greatest of days now, because now they have to contest. Basically everybody else got a free pit stop, and now guys like Corsac and Black Panther are going to have to deal with the fact that they don't have the freshest tires anymore. So the advantage they would have gotten by not pitting is nullified at this point. Endinator is the first out of the guys that have pitted. Scorpio right behind him in P9. Black Panther in P10 did not pit, so he just got a penalty for exceeding the limits. We have Suleiman, we have Salties, we have Gilbovand, Frankie Pie, Ryan Mikalev on the ards. Maybe just an issue, maybe just a mistake on his tire selection menu as he was getting into the pit lane. But unfortunately, we have lost 2 drivers on this race so far. And also 3, I believe, because Susanstein... Wait, I pressed the wrong driver. Susanstein, yeah, is disconnected as well, so it's not really racing. So we've lost 3 drivers. Speed Booster is also disconnected, as he's ghosted. We have Iceman, so Iceman is basically the last driver still in competition at the moment. Deniza got himself at the top after all of the chaos. He gets himself at the top of the table, at the top of the race, really. Let's see how that one develops until the end of the Grand Prix. As I was trying to look at his other results, so I'm guessing he's making his debut today here in the tier 2 of ORL, but he's leading at the moment. Alexa Marcy in P2, he is currently 6th in the championship, as Alexa Marcy has 14 points. The Hungarian driver got the 5th place in the season opener at Japan and the 8th place finish at Monza. So he's taking it to this 3rd round to try and improve his luck. He's currently in P2, Korsak right behind him. Korsak's trying to make it to the top by not pitting under the safety car and just going to battle himself. In terms of the tires, he's going to battle those hards, as his competition is on just as old medium tires. But at least everyone from P1 to P7, I believe they still have to pit. Maybe with the safety cars, maybe if they have another safety car, they won't have to pit, but they are surely going to start struggling with their tires towards the end of the race. But Andy Nater, as fresher tires, is going to be able to push through the pack, surely, and make it hard to his teammates. But both of them, whatever happens, at least at this moment, both Toro Rossos are in prime condition to take the win today. Korsak, because most drivers around him still have to pit, I believe. And Andy Nater, because he has the freshest tires and he also does not have to pit. So, Creepy can also play spoilers today. Black Panther is going to try to hold off the competition, as he does have 5 drivers, all with fresh tires right behind him, as he has 7-lap old hard tires. So that's going to be a tough task for the number 2. Let's see how that one goes as we carry ourselves through the race. So are we about to get the restart? Just trying to figure out, and no, I don't think so. I think we are still going for another lap under safety car conditions. Padlo Futes has also recovered from the chaos early on. He was one of the victims. He got a bit of rate reduction, if you can call it that. Now we do have the safety car coming in, and we have a restart. Green flag is shown, and the race is underway. As we have Tonisa with a good start. Padlo Futes tries to get away from Tarabukan as he pressurizes Korsak. Hamann with CEO into turn 1. The Williams. Oh, there's an absolute charge from Andy Nater up the inside. He doesn't quite get the move done on any of them, but he sure let these rivals know what his intentions were. And they need to look out for it as Korsak has a touch. Ooh, this sideways. Oh my god, that could have been very ugly as he got tangled with Tarabukin. And he falls down the order down to P14, as there's not much space through the weaving first sector. He finds himself all the way down in P14. Ame gets now pressurized by Andy Nater. Andy Nater moves up a place. Kirby is going to try to do the same. Black Panther in P9, under pressure from Suleiman at the moment. And so that one goes. There's a 3-way battle for P6 CEO, Hamann and Andy Nater. It is the Mercedes with the inside line, all of the 3 of them. Andy Nater gets hung out to dry, but it goes on the escape road. Ooh, that's a bit of parking the bus there from the Mercedes driver. A bit of a touch in the rear by the Williams. They're going to be once again with the Toro Rosso on the outside. Scarpi gets on the wide approach to turn number 16. Didn't quite work out for him. CEO gets a compromised exit. Can Scrippy take a look at the inside of the Williams? Not yet. Ooh, a bit sideways there. Bit of a 4-wheel slide for the Williams. Scrippy now gets a bad approach to this last corner. Going to compromise his run, but Andy Nater got past all of them in a very spectacular battle. Suleiman now dives at the inside of Black Panther, who cautiously holds the outside line. Great defensive maneuver there as Soltis and Gilbovan swap positions there for a moment. Ryan McAuliffe and Iceman also going at it. Ryan McAuliffe, the British driver, has the advantage this time around. But looking back at the front, Tunisia is already a 2-second advantage on Flexa Marcy. Padlo Futes, sorry, is still on the back of the Mercedes driver. The RS is not yet available to these drivers. Korsak goes on an attempt to overtake two drivers at once, but loses out on both attempts. Ooh, contact there with Globovan. That could have been ugly, as they are both side by side at the front. Pablo Fuentes and Flaxamarsi go at it without much success for the Renault driver. Globovan still side by side with Korsak, as he defends around the outside, which is going to turn into the inside, but the 49 over the 9. Korsak knows he's faster for the most part, but he's finding it very tough to get through his rivals. At least he doesn't have front wing damage from that tangle with Tarabukin, who's now very close to this three-way battle for P2, with Pablo Flutes finally got the advantage over the McLaren. And look at that now. Still the RS not available, but the McLaren is much closer to the Haas than to the Ferrari. So Tarabukin gets much better slipstream, goes around the outside, claims P3. Good maneuver there from Tarabukin to claim the last of the podium spots. Black Panther, he fought valiantly with Globovan, but Cioltis at the end is able to get the best out of the Toro Rosso driver and gets himself into the points paying positions. Ryan McAuliffe gets into the pits, potentially some damage for the other Alfa Romeo car. He's going to get himself into the pit. CEO has a penalty at the moment. Not sure if that's the only one or not, but he just got awarded a 3-second penalty for creative interpretation of the track limits, according to the game. Ooh, that was a bit of a scary moment there from Black Panther. Already at lap 10, struggling from the traction out of those white marked hard tires. Globovan is going to charge on the inside of turn 12. Is going to be successful. It's going to be a traction battle now between the 2 and the 9. Globovan was successful in defending on the inside last time around on Andy Nater. Ooh, a bit of a lag spike there from Black Panther, and Korsak takes no prisoners, but he does take a piece of the front wing of Black Panther. He saw the opening. Black Panther probably wasn't expecting Korsak to show up there. And the victim was that piece of carbon fiber on the left side of the Belgium driver's front wing. He's going to get into the pits for replacement. Flex and Marcy continues to drop positions. This time around, he loses P4 to Zen Ames. He's side by side with the Mercedes. Brilliant maneuver there from Ame around the outside. Very well done. Gets himself up to P4. Flaxamarsi is really uncomfortable at this stage of the race, as Andy Nater is now all over the rear diffuser of that McLaren. He's going to get a better exit. And that McLaren has just a huge blue blob on his mirrors as they get themselves into turn number 11. Now on the straight into turn 12. It's going to be the RS for both of them. But Andy Nater is closer. The slipstream is going to be powerful, or more powerful, for the Toro Rosso driver. He's going to get himself, he's going to lunge himself at the inside. Late move there, but he does take it. And does it make it stick? He does. P5 for Andy Nater. Just throws himself at the inside of Flaxamarsi, who didn't put up much of a fight. Didn't really have much of a chance to do so either, as Suleiman gets back at Solstice. Gets him down the order. CEO with a mistake drops down a few places as sorry, no, it was actually the reverse. Kirby had a mistake. I thought CEO was further up the order for some reason, but Kirby getting a mistake there. CEO says thank you very much, moves up to a P7. Zename is too far away from Tarabukin to get the RS. Kirby as to put up a fight with the Williams. He throws at the inside. Wow, that was a misjudgment and a half, as he basically goes to Narnia and also to the bottom of the table. He was one of the contenders for the race win along with Andy Nater before the restart. And we do understand the frustration. Looks like he's going to retire from the race. Not sure if that's going to cause another safety car or not. It could. But let's see how that one goes. We do understand the frustration, but still a lot can happen. We just got past the half race distance, as we have a bit of Tarabukin, some support for Tarabukin in chat, which is always appreciated. This camera isn't quite helping me, CEO and Flex and Marcy side by side into turn 12. CEO on the inside outbreaks his rival. Flex and Marcy can't hold a position to save his life. The number 13 drops down even further. He's P7 at this point. Keep in mind, at the restart, he was in P2. So in about 4 laps, he has lost 5 places. Very unfortunate stuff for the McLaren driver. He doesn't seem to have damage, so he's outright uncomfortable at the moment, unfortunately for him. He was currently 6th in the championship. He would have really benefited from a good points haul today. Just not meant to be for the looks of it. Soltis gets himself to P8 with the retirement of the Ferrari. Suleiman and Gillivan also get into the top 10. Korsak is not able to make his hard tires work, especially as this track puts a lot of a strain of them. Temperature is very hard to manage on this track. And after that tangling incident with Tarabukin, as they both collided, there was a bit of a slide, very long slide from Korsak, probably overheated his tires. And on this track, an overheated tire is very, very hard to recover from. Zename with the slipstream, with the DRS on Tarabukin, who also has the drag rejection system to try to defend from the lunge. The 33 throws himself in the inside of the 51, but makes it stick. Up to P3 goes the Mercedes, as the Brackley-based team has a 1-3 at the moment. Pablo Futas is not quite able to keep up with the rhythm of the leader, but is keeping him honest. Stoniza has a 5-second penalty, at least one of those, for exceeding the track limits under safety car. Not sure if Pablo Futas has any problems of his own, or any penalties, as Suleimanglu, finally I can see the entire name. I was calling him something completely different, but I'm sorry. Oh, and Flex and Marcy continues to drop positions. Soltis this time around going around the outside of turn 1. It's going to be a traction battle between the two of them. Almost touching wheels as they get through turn 2. And it's P7 for the American driver, for the contentment of the home crowd. We do have two very competent, very competitive Haas here today. So at least the home crowd has something to cheer about. Tarabukin is in contention for a podium for most of this race. So he can still give a bigger reason for the American crowd to cheer. At the moment, Flex and Marcy drop down another place. Suleimanglu is trying to defend with the rest of his own. Ooh, a late move there. But Flex and Marcy going to throw himself at the inside. A bit of overcooking there of the brakes allows the Racing Point to answer with the outside approach. Now there's contact between the two of them. No carbon fiber missed though, as he throws now on the inside. Contact with the McLaren once again. Ooh, the Renault is going to try to take a look at the inside. He has to lift off 3 wide to that corner. Is never going to work. But look at that. Ooh, he also misjudged there the braking. Unfortunately for him, Flex and Marcy does have to get into the pits, as it's going to get now a set of softs until the end of the Grand Prix. A 10-lap sprint as Korsak is out of the race. Korsak has retired. He's come into the pits and has retired from the race. The man who conquered pole position is out of the race, unfortunately for him. Taking a look at the battle at the front once again. Zename got past Palafoot as it is a 1-2 for Mercedes for the Silver Arrows at the moment. Let's see if Tarabukin can put up the pressure on the 24, the Ferrari. And in Aether, the man on this group with the freshest tires, he has a pit stop over CEO, over Tarabukin, Palafoot, Ame and Toniza. But Soltis, who is about 5 seconds away, does not have to pit until the end of the Grand Prix. So if Andy Nater doesn't keep himself honest, he might fall into a mistake and have a battle for the win there with Sultis as Suleimanglu gets sideways there into the exit of turn 12, possibly contact with Gilbovan as he moves up to P8. These two are still going at it once again. The attempt from Suleimanglu to get himself on the inside. Better exit though for the number 9. Ooh, gets squeezed there on the inside. There's contact, there's 2 touches. Gilbovan goes sideways as he almost loses completely the control of his car. He's not going to lose any positions because Iceman is too far away. But Suleiman is going into the pits. Gilbovan probably should have gone into the pits as well, because that slide really took a knock on these tires, I am sure of. Oh, and Suleimanoglu retires from the session, so a retirement from him. He will still had plenty of chances to get himself in the top 10. Decides to throw down the towel, unfortunately. Flex of Marcy and Iceman complete the top 10 now. Black Panther very close to it. Flex of Marcy on brand new tires, going to put up the pressure on his teammate. The speed difference is immense, but Iceman is not backing down just yet. To be honest, there's not much space. Even if he wanted to get out of the way, he would seriously compromise his line through this entire section. So Flex of Marcy will just have to wait. He finally gets a better exit. Side by side is going to be DRS for Iceman, I believe. I am not exactly sure. Yes, DRS for Iceman, but Flex of Marcy just has a good enough exit for that not to be a problem. Flex of Marcy is going to be able to get away with it on these brand new soft tires. He's going to try to make the most of it. He is 11 seconds away from Gilbovan, but Gilbovan had that drifting issue there that we saw. So he probably is going to take or to have a hard time recovering his tires from that incident, as they're all very close between Ame, Padlofutes and Tarabukin, with Andy Nater right behind all of them, just waiting for his opportunity to pounce. Just going to take a look at the race director real quick. Beniza has a 5-second penalty. Ame has 8 seconds. Padlofutes has 16 seconds. Tarabukin is in a position to win the race, and the Nater also doesn't have a penalty. So if those two don't pit and everything stays as it is, Tarabukin can win the Grand Prix. But Andy Nater has 5-lap younger tires. I'm not sure if this P4 is able to take those tires to the end, at least not without severe issues. That's what we're going to find out in these last 9 laps of this Grand Prix. As we do have Tanidze still leading a 1-2 for the Silver Arrows for the time being. Comfortably managing the gap. Always around 3 seconds from himself to his closest rival. Frankie Pai gets a penalty. Zename with another penalty, unfortunately for him. Let's see if any one of these drivers gets into the pits. No, not yet. Padlofutes goes into the pits. He's going to swap for a set of softs, going to try to take the undercut. No, so he's actually going for another set of mediums, which is maybe he just ran out of softs from qualifying, but he goes on another set of mediums. Just quite puzzling. He didn't really need to go on those ones. Even if he had used soft tires from qualifying, those would surely do 8 laps, because he also had, well, he pitted on that first safety car, but still, those tires, even used from qualifying in 1 or 2 laps, they still can do 8 laps. So maybe a strategic blunder there from Padlofutes. Let's see how that one goes, as Black Panther gets a 3-second penalty for his efforts. Soltis closing in on CEO. Let's see how that one goes. DRS on him, also on Andy Nater, who's closing in on the Haas, as there's a massive gap now between him and the Silver Arrows in front. This is the opportunity to strike contact with Tarabukin as he tries to hold it around the outside, which turns into the inside. Soltis also did not overtake CEO in the battle for P5. Andy Nater takes the inside for turn 15 and 16. Tarabukin has to yield. He's not giving up just yet. Gets a much better exit side by side to turn 17 and 18. Last time it didn't go out very well for the car on the inside. These two managed to keep it clean. Still side by side as they get through the closing stages of this lap. Lazio now gets the better exit into turn number 1. Who's going to get the RS? It's going to be Tarabukin. He's going to have a higher top end speed because of that. Handinator is going to try to outbreak the number 51. Not this time around. It was a valiant battle, a valiant effort. But at the end of it, it's Tarabukin who keeps the lead of that battle. Tarabukin keeps the last of the podium paying positions. So it's going to have a bit of a breather now. Both Handinator and Tarabukin, as they both going to collect themselves for the next DRS straight. They both have similar amounts of battery charge. Handinator just about 5% less than his rivals. But these two know the win is between both of them. Tunisia and Ame are both severely, well, their chances are severely decreased with the amount of penalties they have. And there you have it. The attack from Handinator with the DRS goes around the Haas and gets himself P3. Soltis does the same on CEO. So we do have both Haas drivers in the top 5. So brilliant day to be an American F1 fan. A CEO there getting a bit sideways, managed to correct it quickly. But he is surely struggling with those 19 lap old tires. As Pablo Fuentes on brand new tires makes easy work of Gelbovan, moves himself up to a P7. Now we're going to see, can Tarabukin give back the favor? Nah, it's not, doesn't look like he has the tire life to do so. As Handinator tries to break the toe on the number 51 of the Haas. There you have it. Tarabukin at this point not quite able to immediately go for it. Pablo Fuentes gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix to 1:35.0 for the time being, even faster than the soft tire lap of Flexa Marci was the previous holder of the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So that one goes. Start booking that for the time being. You can see he's barely on the RS range, but Handinator does have a clear advantage at this point. I would even say for Handinator, just blast away, just try to push everything he can, because he does have the freshest tires. 4 seconds from Zename, and about what, 5.5 to Michael Tunisia, as Ame has actually started to close in on his teammate. We might have a battle between the Silver Arrows. Both of them have penalties. Handinator and Tarabukin do not. Tarabukin knows that if he can just hold on to the RS range and try to take back the place from Handinator, whoever is P3 at the moment, I would say, is probably the winner of this Grand Prix. Soltis, also very competitive with the tires, with the same as many amount of laps as Handinator, who just got a penalty. Handinator just got a penalty, and this is crucial. Handinator really has to put the foot down, because Tarabukin, if he's within 3 seconds, he might as well be the winner of this Grand Prix. Handinator needs desperately to get away from the Haas driver, from the Russian Haas driver. Let's see how that one goes. Soltis behind, going to try to also look for an opening to try to get himself on that fight. So you have yellow flags in sector 2. Can't quite. Oh, that's CEO? That is CEO. CEO had a mistake there. Pablo Fuentes says thank you very much, makes it up to P6. But yeah, CEO losing control in the first sector. Maybe too harsh of a transition between one of the corners. The weight transfer was too aggressive. The suspension and the tires just gave up on him, as these tires are already on lap 21, so they're probably begging at this point to have the mechanics remove them. But we do have 5 laps until the end of the Grand Prix, and as you can see, maybe the not pitting strategy did work for some of the drivers, because Pablo Fuentes, as fast as he is still 11 seconds away from the top 5 with 5 laps to go. I believe only a mistake would see him get himself in that top 5. Or penalties. Salties gets a 3-second penalty of his own. I believe Tarabukin still doesn't have any penalties. Going to take a look. No, Tarabukin has a penalty of his own. And Andinator is in the same circumstance. So, yeah, Tarabukin and Andinator. If Andinator wants to win, as Padlofutes gets a 3-second penalty, another one. But if Andinator wants to win, he needs to keep himself away from Tarabukin, because the other two rivals in front, the two Mercedes, have a lot of penalties in this race. So, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, I would say that Andinator is going to be the one taking home the winner's trophy. Looking further back, Flash Marcy is starting to have a bit of the downhill now on the life of his tires. He pitted too early for the softs. So he's going to take them to the end, but it's going to be very difficult, to be honest. That's how that one goes. As looking at the gaps, looks like everything has settled down at the moment. Zename is still at this point closing in on Tunisia. We might have an entertaining battle between the two of them. For that, we're going to have to wait a bit longer. The leader just starts lap number 25 here at the Lone Star State, here in Austin, Texas, at the Circuit of the Americas, home of the USA Grand Prix, third round of this ORL Tier 2 Championship. Ooh, a bit of a squabble there on Zename with his tires, as they are surely starting to let him know, I don't have much grip left, and that was a warning shot if I've ever seen one. Ame barely keeping his car under control. He did lose almost 3/10 to his teammate, and surely allows Andinator to keep piling up the pressure. Of course, Andinator himself doesn't have the healthiest tires anymore at this point, so he also needs to be careful. But you can see it is a 6-lap difference, and you can see the difference in race pace. He had just gained, what, 1.5 seconds on Tarabukin on the past 2 laps, so the gap difference is astonishing. But Andinator, as you can see on the bottom right, he does have depleted his battery, so he did use a lot of it to get away from Tarabukin. Now he just needs to conserve himself to close in on Ame and Tunisia. Let's see how that one goes. He does have the freshest tires, so maybe even in these situations, even if he's a slower driver, just in talent alone, sometimes the difference in tire can dictate the pace difference. So Iceman getting under attack now from Black Panther. This is the battle for the last of the points paying positions. There's a comeback from Iceman on the inside of turn 15, as they're going side by side now into at the exit of 16 into 17 and 18. Black Panther has much fresher tires, has better grip, doesn't give a chance to Iceman, who maybe now can retaliate with the DRS into turn 1. Let's see how that one goes. Ooh, yes, his brake bias a bit too much to the rear. Almost lost control of it. As he getting the RS wide open. Ooh, that was a severe lag incident there from Black Panther. Does allow Iceman to close in. A bit of a correction there, an hesitation from the McLaren driver. Black Panther takes it and holds onto that P10. Oh, interesting battle there between those two. Panther looked like for a moment he had that settled, but then he had that lag spike, and that allowed Iceman to have a look at the inside, but then he also turned in too much and was almost cutting the corner, so he had to momentarily bail out of it and correct his trajectory, and with that allowed Black Panther to get more speed through the corner and hold onto his P10. Iceman at the moment still hunting down Black Panther. But even with the DRS, it's now too hard for him. His tires aren't really in the best of shapes anymore. So unfortunately, he might try to keep himself on DRS range, but it's going to be very, very difficult. In the meantime, Zename pushing to get inside the DRS range of Tunisia, as he did get a much better first sector than his teammate. And this is going to be able to get DRS. Not exactly sure. Andinator just gained half a second on the previous 2 laps on these Mercedes that we are on board with. So we are going to have to see if we are going to have a battle for the top 2 with 2 laps to go. Zename not in the DRS range, but he does have less battery than Tunisia, so he has been pushing. He's been pushing to get closer to his teammate. If those 2 battle, this would be important for Andinator to just make sure he doesn't let the win escape. So that one goes. So we're going to take a look at the race director really quick, as Michael Tunisia has a 5-second penalty. So if those 2 battle, because Andinator has 3 seconds, so the difference is 2 seconds. Andinator, I thought Tunisia had 3 seconds, adds 10 seconds rather. I thought Tunisia had 10 seconds of penalties. So Ame trying to Ame has a lot of penalties. He's trying to keep himself away from Andinator. But at the moment, I would say that Andinator just needs, he just needs to gain 1 second on this lap to take a chance at to win. At the moment, there's 2 seconds separating Tunisia from Andinator in terms of the penalties, but there's 3 seconds separating them on the track, favoring Tunisia, who's now fighting for his life as Zename is pushing it all on this last lap. Andinator closing in on Ame, and therefore also on Tunisia. Let's see if Ame is going to take a lunge at his teammate. He's closing in with the DRS. Mode 4 of DRS as well, as he propels himself down this very long straight into turn 12. He misses the braking. Almost clipped Tunisia there. He's going into the wall. There's front wing damage. Andinator gets through. And let's see if Tarabukin also gets through. No, he's too far away. But he probably can claim P3 from the penalties of the Mercedes. Michael Tunisia, 2.5 seconds. He just needs to keep himself together. He's pushing it all now in these last few corners. Can he get himself together through these last few? Tarabukin also came under pressure from Salty. He's not sure what happened between them. Zename loses the place to both Haas, and there you have it. Tunisia crosses the line first, and there you have it. Tunisia crosses over the line to take home the win of the USA Grand Prix. Andinator P2, Tarabukin P3 with his teammate right behind. Huge cheer in the crowd today in the grandstands. Pablo Futa still comes back to a 5th place finish. Zename, after his issues, crosses the line via pit lane in P6. CEO and Golbovan, he had so many penalties that CEO and Golbovan get boats through him. 6th for CEO, 7th for Golbovan, 8th for Ame. Flexer Marcy in P9. Black Panther, can he claim the last point? Will Iceman be able to get him on penalties? Yes, he does! Yes, he does! The last of the points paying position for Iceman. Black Panther, the Belgian driver, unfortunately is going to miss out on that single point today. Frankie Pie getting himself P12, Speed Booster 13, Ryan Mikalev in 14th place. And everybody else behind him has retired from the Grand Prix. So now, we do need, as we have finally... Oh, no, that wasn't a Red Bull winning. That's just... Okay, that's the game trolling us. Out now. Okay, so yeah, there's not speed booster McAuliffe and Tunisia, so so yeah, that's for sure. So just going to now take us to the interviews, the podium interviews. So just going to try and get drivers. So let's take a look. So I call Tonizza, Andinator, and Tara booking. Okay, so just waiting for the drivers to get in. We're going to wait 2 or 3 minutes for them to get in, and once they get in, we are going to speak with them. But yeah, there's the 3 winners. Tunisia, then Andy Nater in P2. It was very close between both of them, and then we got Tara Bukin, who gets the podium. Okay, so I've mentioned the drivers to get in, but they aren't getting in. They are on the server, they are online, they just haven't gotten into the voice channel. But yeah, just going to wait 1 more minute for them to get in, so we can talk to at least one of them. But if they do not, we're going to wrap things up. So we do have Tara booking at the moment, so just waiting for the others. And while we wait, actually is nice because he was the last of the podium finishers. But yeah, Tara booking. First of all, welcome to the podium. Welcome to the podium. That was, I believe, the first time this season. We got a P4 at Monza and now a P3 at USA. And also very nice because you are a Haas driver, so you also gave to the home crowd something to be happy about. But yeah, what do you have to say about your performance today? Mm-hmm. 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 It was fresher. He had fresher tires. Yeah. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah, exactly. That's very nice indeed. At least you show that you have good pace and to contend for podiums, which is always nice when you are fighting up there. So yeah, congrats on that and thank you for your words. And we do not have the other podium sitters at the moment. So we have Black Panther, the Belgian driver, joined us in the booth. So hi, how are you doing, man? Okay, goodbye, goodbye. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I saw one of them, but yeah, it was tough. Okay, well, at least, well, we always have the next one, right? It is going to be China, so it's hopefully going to be a good opportunity for you. Hmm. Yeah, that's surely China can be a good opportunity. So yeah, thank you for your words. As this is going to be it for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, give us the like button. If you did not, the dislike button is as always right beside it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Hit the bell icon for any notifications of whenever we're about to start the live stream or to post any videos. Hope to see you all next time for the Chinese Grand Prix and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.